The United stand on the evening that Manchester United seem to be struggling to get the Bruno Fernandes deal over the line, and on the day that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saw his number one striking target, Erling Haaland, score a hat-trick for Borussia Dortmund, rumours and feeling starts to grow amongst the Manchester United fan base that we actually don't have any money. This is the big thing. We actually don't have money, even though we are a massive football club with massive revenues. Manchester United simply do not have the money to spend. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can talk about the backing all he likes, but he is facing a transfer nightmare as United lurch from one transfer disaster to another. Is the money there for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? And is this the real reason why Manchester United takes so long over every deal, with ridiculous add-ons built into most deals as well? We'll talk about that, but let's talk about Bruno Fernandes to start off with. There has been updates since my lunchtime video on this. So, Simon Stone, who's a tier 1 BBC journalist, he was asked on Twitter tonight if he thought that Bruno Fernandes would come to Manchester United, and he did say he'd be very surprised if it didn't happen, but then did the hand emoji like that. So, we'll have to wait and see. The latest from everybody, and even Sky have backtracked now, is that there is a difference between what Sporting Lisbon want and what Manchester United want. As I keep saying, this is a seller's market. January is a seller's market. It's not a buyer's market, it's a seller's market. I don't agree that the January transfer window is hard, but I do agree that the advantage is with the selling team because they probably don't need to sell. So you need to be ruthless, you need to be aggressive. The January transfer window is not a time to try and save a fiver. It is the time where you maybe have to pay a little bit more. It's halfway through a season. People like Sporting Lisbon don't want to be losing their best players, especially when they're still in the Europa League themselves, so you have to pay a little bit more. But Manchester United are still stuck in this arrogant way. And there's a very good, I saw a tweet earlier on from, I think it was Stretford Post, and they were spot on. Manchester United used to be a liked club within Europe. You know, you think about, we got Ronaldo very quickly for very little. Our negotiations were probably quite good. We've become this stingy arsehole club that a lot of clubs don't really want to do deals with anymore, and that's been generated by Woodward & Co. And I think it's a real problem for Manchester United. But this is a seller's market. This is a seller's market. I think we will get Bruno Fernandes, but I think what we're seeing with United is they had no intention of it being announced before the Liverpool game because they want to use it if we get smashed by Liverpool as a positivity thing. Oh, forget losing to your biggest rival. Here's Bruno Fernandes, even though you've known about it for ages. And also, I think this is we're going to walk away. We're very close to walking away from the deal. I think it's all about I think that's just about what we did with Harry Maguire and what we did with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. In fact, I was looking back through old tweets from last summer this afternoon, and this same thing happened with both. Both clubs are miles apart. United ready to move away if it doesn't happen. I think it's just about making sure that the deal gets done. And as I said, Manchester United, even though we probably needed Bruno Fernandes for tomorrow against Liverpool, they don't think like that. They think about saving money, and if it takes 3 weeks, it takes 3 weeks. You can get on with your job, Ollie. But I don't agree with it. I don't agree with that. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is being backed. When you look at the Erling Haaland deal, apparently we pulled out of that deal because we didn't want him to have a percentage of his image rights and we didn't want him to have a release clause. He's just gone and scored a hat-trick on his debut from the bench. Who are we? Who do we think we are? Who does Ed Woodward think he is? Who does his negotiators think they are? Who do you think you are? You are saying to a player, we're not interested because you want a release clause and you want a percentage of your image rights. And he's quite clearly one of the best strikers in the world at the moment and will get better and better. But we walk away from the deal because we don't want to let you have any image rights. I mean, it's ridiculous. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted that player and he didn't get him. 100% Ole wanted him and he didn't get him. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer comes out on press conferences and says, the money's there if the right player's there. Well, the right player was there, the money wasn't there. Bruno Fernandes, first choice, right player, where's the signing? They're still negotiating. I think they'll get the deal done, but they're still negotiating. And I tell you what, if we had competition for Bruno Fernandes, like we did for Dortmund, like we did for Haaland, we wouldn't get the deal done. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can say, if the right player's there, the money's there. It's a load of nonsense. You are not being backed in this transfer market. You did not get Erling Haaland and you wanted him. Do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gives a shit about image rights or release clauses? Of course he doesn't. Of course he doesn't. He just wants the players to make his job better. And imagine Erling Haaland at Manchester United, a very different type of player, giving us some options. Marcus Rashford probably not going to play. Well, in fact, Marcus Rashford's not playing against Liverpool tomorrow because he didn't train today. So Marcus Rashford's not playing against Liverpool tomorrow unless there's some miracle. And Erling Haaland could have been. But no, we don't want to give image rights or release clauses up. Bruno Fernandes could have been playing against Liverpool tomorrow. No, we want to try and eke another £5 million out of Sporting Lisbon. So the theory is with Bruno Fernandes is that this transfer will go on into next week and maybe longer. There's a feeling that he'll play in a cup game for Sporting Lisbon on Tuesday night. So it's going to carry on. It's going to carry on to save a little money. But what I want to say is this. This talk that Sporting Lisbon have doubled his price and they want 80 million euros. Sporting Lisbon have always wanted around 60 million. In the summer and now. They've always wanted 60 million. The reality is, and there's a lot of this story coming out, Sporting Lisbon wants 60 million English money for him, around 60 to 55 million. Manchester United only want to pay 40 million. Who are the plonkers? Let me just read these super chats. What makes you think we'll sign Bruno? Hope we do, says Simon Cooper. Because I think everybody with any credibility is talking and expecting it to happen. I think what we're going through is a negotiation period. United threatening to walk away. If you look at the wording, United could walk away. United threatening to walk away. Have they walked away? They could walk away. They're not going to walk away. They're going to negotiate that deal down, just like they did Wan-Bissaka, just like they did Harry Maguire. Realistically, with Ed at the helm, will any manager ever get the players they want, says Main Street Barbers Durham? I don't think Manchester United have any money. And I don't want to ruin your Saturday night, but I don't think Manchester United have any money. And I would say, as fans, whatever group you are part, whether it's the Manchester United Supporters Trust, whether it's a fanzine, whether it's the United Stand, whether it's a website, whether it's a supporters group, where is the evidence of the money? Why can the club not tell us that they have money? Because they don't do it, and the evidence is out there. I don't think we've got any money. I hear things from people who tell me from within, they're getting things from within the club that United haven't got any money. They owe loads of money and they haven't got any money to spend, and this is why they negotiate the joy out of every deal. And this is the thing. Manchester United value Bruno Fernandes at 40 million and Sporting Lisbon value him around 60 million. Who are the ones holding up the deal, people? Who are the ones holding up the deal? Is Bruno Fernandes worth close to 40 million or is he worth closer to 60 million? So who's holding this deal up? Why is Bruno Fernandes not a United player? Sporting Lisbon want around 60. Manchester United want to pay about 40. You tell me who's holding this deal up. Because it's a fact that Manchester United only want to pay around 40 million. This nonsense that Sporting Lisbon want 80 million is nonsense. They want around 60. So who's holding the deal up? Because I'll tell you what. Every day of the week, Bruno Fernandes is worth £60 million. I've been saying it for ages. In the current market, he's worth 60 million. He is not some 19-year-old who scored 10 goals in the Portuguese league. He's 25. He's the best player in that club. He's the captain. He's scored goals in the Europa League. He's doing well for the Portuguese national side. He's consistent. Comparable to players that have left that league, you would rank him around £60 million. Who are the plonkers at Manchester United who are ranking this player at £40 million and holding this deal up? You paid £50 million for an English right-back who played for Crystal Palace. You paid £80 million for Harry Maguire. But some plonker in United thinks that Bruno Fernandes' value is £40 million. Wake up! Like, who is valuing these players? You're ridiculous. So this deal's being held up by Manchester United. And I think that it's being held up because they haven't got any bloody money. I really do think that that's the truth. We haven't got any money. Let me just take these super chats. Woodward all glazes out. Thieving liars, says Christopher Dalargy. Chris Connors says, I've heard through the grapevine that we'll be announcing the Bruno signing at half-time tomorrow. Yeah, I doubt it, Chris. John G says, whether Bruno joins or not, he is not an Ollie signing. It's a board signing to replace Pogba. Ollie's going to be sacked in the summer and Poch will replace him. Writing us on the wall for Ollie, build a bonfire. And Shady Abanaza says, I'm afraid getting a result tomorrow will bring positivity around the club, which the board would take advantage from and really walk away from the deal. We're not going to get a result tomorrow that's going to... I want to get a result tomorrow, but I don't think the percentage of it happening is not high. In part, is part of having no money due to our ridiculous wage bill, says Murray. I do not think Manchester United have any money, right? And anybody can say what they like, but if you look at Manchester United Football Club, you look at the Glazers, they've got a lot of debt. Manchester United have got a lot of debt. The Glazers have got a lot of debt, right? On top of that, look at our last 4 transfer windows. 60 million net spend 2 years ago for Mourinho's last season. We'd finished second in the league and we went into that summer saying we need to spend to close the gap on City. We had a £60 million net spend. Is that a football club that wants to close a gap on City? No, they didn't want to spend anything. January transfer window, nothing spent. In the summer, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer given the job. Oh, we'll spend about 200 million. Remember when ESPN said United have only got 100 million to spend? 60 million pound net spend. We've got no bloody money. We have got money. We've got massive revenues, but the club is saddled with debt. We haven't got any money. I want the club to come out and prove that we've got money. I don't think we've got any money. I don't think we have. I think this is the problem. We haven't got the money. And the evidence is starting to stack up over the last 2 years. We don't spend much money. Aston Villa, Fulham, they outspend us. Everton outspend us. We haven't got any bloody money. And I think this is the problem. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I've got to say, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a victim. He is a victim. He has not got a chance. He probably will be out the job in the summer. Because what is he supposed to do? Mr. Inexperienced, Mr. Job Experience guy trying to learn on the job and no support. He's got a massive job on his hands. And you know what? Bruno Fernandes is nothing to do with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I believe it is his signing, but it falling apart is nothing to do with him. Lucky this is not FIFA and they walk out furious, says Buster Nuts. Yes. Red Baron, don't let your expectations raise as this club often disappoints. Jordan Search Mark, to get Bruno, either Sporting are going to have to reduce the price, which I don't see happening in the middle of the season, or United are going to have to get another 15 to 20 million together. This could really drag out till the 31st, says Jordan Search. Vinbarar, looking for a strong, fast striker for career mode. Currently Felix is too weak. I don't care what that Saudi guy has done. MBS in, Glazers out. And Vlad Makarov says the next few days will be a disaster, get destroyed by Liverpool and have no transfers. Manchester United is dying. Look, I sit here waiting to be corrected by Manchester United Football Club. I don't think you've got any money. I don't. I think this is why you are doing something that many Manchester United fans don't know about. How on earth are you negotiating around £40 million for Bruno Fernandes? It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, look at some of the signings that have been made for £40 million. Look at what West Ham paid for Sebastian Haller. I don't know how much it was actually, but I think it wasn't far off £40 million. Like, you know, he's worth more than £40 million, and you are negotiating around £40 million because you've got no bloody money. You've got no money. Just, it's obvious. There is no transfer budget. It's next to nothing. I think Paul Pogba will be sold in the summer, and that will be the transfer budget. We'll spend money in the summer, but we'll get £150 million for Pogba, and we'll spend it. And everyone will go, oh, we've got Maddison, we've got Sancho. But actually, when you take Pogba money out, I bet the net spend is no more than 60 again. If we sell Pogba for 150 million, and we spend 210 million in the summer, we've only spent 60 million again. There's no money. It's all self-generated. There's no bloody money. All that money we've put into the club as fans, it's not there. I've been thinking about this tonight. I've been thinking, what are we doing? If Sporting Lisbon wants 60 million, just spend it. It's January, right? You know, in the summer, I understand if it's the summer, try and negotiate it down to closer to 55, 50, fine. It's January. You're very lucky to be able to get a player of Bruno Fernandes' quality in January. Very lucky. It is a seller's market. And we're trying to skimp them down to 40 million because they've got money problems. Well, so have we, I'm afraid. I cannot understand why we're negotiating around 40 million unless I actually look at the evidence, which I have done this evening, and gone, you know what? We don't spend much money. I don't think we've got much of a transfer budget. I think Ollie, when he says there's money... I mean, look at this one. This one will do you. Erling Haaland is worth 60 million. Come on, he is. He was available for 17, and we still didn't bloody do it because we haven't got any bloody money. We just haven't got the money. We don't want to spend the money, and we haven't got any. And until they prove us wrong, I'm going to keep chanting it, and I think every United fan should chant it. If in the summer we sell Pogba, we sign Saul Niguez for 100 million, we sign Sancho for 100 million, we sign Maddison for 100 million, we get Koulibaly for 65 million, and we spend 400, but we get 150 back, I will say I was wrong. I don't think that's happening. That should happen. We have got the revenues to do that. United should spend 400 million in the summer and get 150 million pounds back from Pogba and have a 200 million pound net spend. That should happen. Not a chance. Not a chance. We ain't got no money. And until I get proven wrong, we ain't got no money. We haven't. I bet we've got 60 million. I bet we've got around 50 to 60 million, and that's the only budget Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got. And I bet it was. You can have 15 for Erling Haaland and try and get Bruno for 40. I bet that was exactly what the plan was. And all this talk about, oh yeah, we got money. I don't think we have. And as I said, I don't think Sporting Lisbon are the ones holding this deal up. I think what we've seen this afternoon is classic briefing from Manchester United Football Club, BBC, Sky Sports, Evening Standard, all saying the same thing. There's a disparity between the deals. Sporting Lisbon want too much money. But what does Sporting Lisbon want? Sporting Lisbon want 60 million. They turned down 45 from Spurs last summer. They want 60 million, and I think they're entitled to it. And especially in January, halfway through the season, in a seller's market. I think we have money. I mean, look back to LVG's first season. I just think that the blood-sucking Draculas we have as owners don't want to spend, says Shady Abenazer. Yeah, well, look, whether we have a pot of money or not, I think you're spot on. What I'm saying is, I don't think there's any money in the transfer budget more than about 50 million quid at the moment. I think money will come in from Pogba, but at the moment, I think we've got 50 million to spend, and that's it. And I think that's why we're struggling to get this over the line. I guarantee if you wrote a cheque for 55 million tomorrow, Sporting Lisbon will take the money. So who's holding the deal up when we're flirting around 45? We're miles off. We're miles off. And who's the one who's acting with any urgency? Not us. Could you do a brief explanation of net spend, says Main Street Barbers Durham. So net spend is this. £50 million on Wan-Bissaka plus 15 million for Dan James equals 65 million. Plus 80 million that we paid on Harry Maguire equals 145 million. So we spent 145 million last summer, outgoings, right? And we sold Lukaku for about 70. So 165... Well, look, whatever you sell players for, you take off. And when you take everything that we sold off, it comes to around a £60 million net spend last summer. So your purchases minus your sales. So Manchester United sell Pogba for 150 million. We've got 150 million from sales. That's not from revenue. That's not from profits. Could you do... I've done that one. Okay. And Man United Forever says, we've always been a bunch of saps willing to spend big for players that aren't consistent, and even worse, selling for little. Young equals 1.5 million, says it all. Well, it's amazing, isn't it? On one hand, we are scraping around saying we don't want to pay more than 45 million for Bruno Fernandes, but then you're letting people like Tahith Chong and... Angel Gomez walk out the club for nothing. You know, teenagers who have a value walking out the door for nothing because you didn't renew their contracts. I'll never understand how incompetent Manchester United are. You know, all right, you're a banker, but actually some of your business decisions are rubbish. Your footballing decisions, we accept they're rubbish. You don't know what you're on about. But your business decisions are meant to be good. So on one hand, you negotiate the joy out of every transfer deal. On the other hand, you let people like Ander Herrera walk out the club, and actually, as Ander Herrera was walking out the club, he's basically going up yours with 20 million on his t-shirt, because Ander Herrera was worth 20 million of anybody's money, probably more. You know, this was a 29-year-old, and we lost him for nothing. That still really grates me. Ander Herrera wasn't just a very important player walking out the door, he was a bag of money. I think Ander Herrera is 25 million. Some people would say 30, some people would say 20. But effectively, let's hit in the middle. £25 million walked out of that club in the summer. And yet here we are with Bruno Fernandes arguing over 5. But you let 25 million walk out the door. When Angel Gomez goes, you're letting anywhere between 5 and 20 million walk out the door. The same with Tahith Chong. These players have a value. And you let them walk out the door because you don't plan that their 3-year contracts are coming towards the end. So you let money walk out the door like that, but on the other hand, you're saying we won't be held to ransom. But you're burning money, letting people walk out the door. It makes no sense from a business point of view at all. Mark, you see Haaland's hat-trick in 23 minutes debut? Yeah, we've spoken about that. Dino Davel, we have spoken about that, I'm afraid, unfortunately. Red Baron says, Mark, let's be honest, they can't even bother investing in the stadium. What makes you think they can care about players other than rumours and stories to increase their stock? And Jordan Such, Mark, to get Bruno either Sporting... Yeah, we've read that one, I think. Yeah, we did read that one. William Jolly says, we should cancel our Sky and stop buying shirts and season tickets. We, the fans, will not be held to ransom if the club is going to continue this way. And GW178 says, do you think our lack of Champions League football over the last few years and our huge wage bill is why they are not spending big? Well, yeah, obviously consequences have actions. You know, yeah, we will spend less because we are making less. We weren't spending that much when we were doing all right. Mark, a club is dying a slow death. This is like being terminally ill and slowly suffering a slow and painful death. And that was from Surinder Singh. And Strutson says, how is Ollie supposed to build a team with breadcrumbs? Pissing me right off. I agree with you. And Bruno wants to join United. Sporting wouldn't mind the money, but both clubs can't agree a fee. Only leads to one thing. We are going cheaper than what the club selling wants, says Jordan Such. 100%. That's my reading of the situation. We're holding this deal up to try and save money because we haven't got any bloody money. And I tell you what as well, This club is meant to be the biggest club in England, right? Who runs their public relations? I mean, this signing a week ago when we spoke, and everyone knows I love Bruno Fernandes, and a lot of you do as well. I never expected this deal to happen. I made a throwaway comment on a transfer show 2 weeks ago, and I said, Ollie, we're all nearly Ollie out, but if you sign Bruno Fernandes, I'll back you for 2 years. It was a joke. I never thought it was going to happen. Last Friday, we start to hear from credible sources United want him, and you think, bloody hell, this is massively exciting. This is great. This is positivity street. Let's dance. Even if it's raining, let's get naked. Whatever. It's great. It's absolutely superb, right? But a week on, where are we? A week on, we're exhausted. We're up and down like a roller coaster. We're fed up. We just want the deal to get done. All the joy, all the excitement, yet again, has been zapped out of this transfer because United are inept at dealing with transfers and recruitment. They don't get it. Yeah, you get loads of interaction because people are like, what's going on? But at this point, people are exhausted with it. They're tired of it. They're like, I've even heard people say, you know what, I don't give a shit anymore. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm fed up of this football club. And that's the thing. A massive positive, a massive exciting win in signing Bruno Fernandes has actually turned into an exhausting nightmare for the fan base because the football club is inept. And I agree with that. I do. And this is the player I want more than anything, but I'm exhausted by it. And the excitement has gone. The same thing happened with Paul Pogba. When that first broke a few years ago, it was like, no, we can't do that. It looks like we are going to do that. It rolled on for 6 weeks. And by the end of it, it was like, oh yeah, he's signed. Look at him. He's doing a video with Stormzy. It's great. It's official now. But it wasn't as good as it could have been because United couldn't conceal a bloody pin in a haystack. They couldn't. Everything you have to know about everything with United because they're absolutely awful. Everton paid 40 million for Iwobi in the summer and United can't pay 60 for Bruno. Even a blind man can see that Bruno is way better than Iwobi. Thank you, Adams and Aquila. That's the sort of comment I was looking for tonight. That sort of a comparison. Everton paid 40 million for Iwobi from Arsenal, who is crap. And we want to pay 40 million for Bruno Fernandes. Plonkers. Absolute plonkers. And the only justification for this is money. If we had owners like Liverpool or Manchester City, even Chelsea, and the manager of that club said, I need Bruno Fernandes and I need him ASAP, because let's not forget, McTominay, Pogba, they're injured. Fred and Matic are knackered. Lingard, Mata and Pereira just ain't up to the job. We needed him yesterday. We needed him 2 weeks ago. We could have had him 2 weeks ago on January the 1st. So Chelsea manager, Man City manager, Liverpool manager goes, I need this player. I need him now. I think he's got the potential to be one of the best midfielders in Europe. 60 million and you've got him because they need the money. I'll write the cheque now. It's done. He's back. He's in for the next game, right? What's happened with United? I need this player. I've got the injuries. We're down to the bare roots. It's January. It's very hard to buy this sort of quality player. I think he's brilliant. We need him right now. He's available for 60 million. Can you get it sorted? Leave it to me. 2 weeks later, what's happening? Oh, we started off at 40 million and we're not budging. This is it. We're not a football club. We're a business. We're a bloody business because we don't act like a football club quickly. I mean, I can't emphasise this enough. The January transfer market is not impossible, but it's a seller's market. It's not a buyer's market. The summer is more of a buyer's market. Players are more wanting to move. Clubs have got to move to get replacements. The January market is a seller's market. If they want to sell, you're going to have to pay. You look at some of the fees that have been paid over the years in January, they're always quite big. They're always quite big fees. Look at Van Dijk, that was 75 million. So you've got to pay big to get a player. Not ridiculous, I don't think anybody wants you to pay ridiculous, but let's be honest. 55 million will get this deal done, and we're hovering about 45. You get it done. Sporting would take 55 million quid, and it's about money. It's always about money with Manchester United. I don't think we've got any money. I don't think there's any money in the pot. I think there is around 40 million in the pot, and that's it. And that's why United are messing this deal up. But I do think it will get done. But the sad thing is they've sapped the joy, they've sapped the excitement, and I don't know much longer it's going to take. It could take another 2 weeks. It could take 2 days. It could take another week. But it's going to drag on. And I tell you what, part of me feels like, you know what, Sporting Lisbon, I hope you do dig your feet in, because these bloodsuckers who are running our club, I don't want them to get a bargain. He ain't worth 40 million. He's worth 55 million. I don't want us to get him for 40 million. I think that's a piss take to Sporting Lisbon, to be honest. And I think Sporting Lisbon are right to stick their feet in. You know what? We've had this deal ruined for us anyway. Sod it if it takes till January the 1st. It makes the bloody owners of this club look more stupid than they are. He's worth 55 million. I said it, and you know, people can say, oh, you can't say that. I do. I've always said I think he's worth 60 million. I said it last summer, and I know we walked away in the summer because we didn't want to pay it. No, we're not interested. We're not interested. Feed that out. We were never in for him anyway. Bollocks, you were in for him. You just didn't want to pay 60 million. You don't want to pay the money. And I said it in the summer as well. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, we have the same thing going on. United wanted to pay 35 million plus Amazon vouchers and a load of rubbish. I said, he's a 50 million pound player. Just play the bloody money. Get it done. 4 weeks later, we pay the money. Harry Maguire, start of July, it started. Didn't sign him till the end of July. They want 70 million. They want 75 million. They want 80 million. I said, he's a 75 million pound player. He is a 75 million pound player because of he's English centre-back. Van Dijk went from Southampton for 75. We still take ages to do it. Lee Ballington, like what many businesses do when they are struggling, more interested in saving money than making it. We are making cuts rather than expanding, says Lee Ballington. Yep. Well, this is why we didn't replace Lukaku, by the way. We didn't replace Lukaku because Lukaku funds were used to supplement Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and also that money was needed into the club. So the Lukaku money was never available for a striker. That's why we didn't buy one. Don't buy into this nonsense that Ollie says. Oh, the money was there, but the right player wasn't. Oh, so you're telling me you went into this midfield with 2 strikers? You went into a season with 2 strikers to play in 3 positions, and you let Lukaku and Sanchez go, but the right player wasn't available? What a load of rubbish. You're just covering up for the fact that there's no money. And I'm going to keep saying there's no money until it's proved that there are. On the plus side, the non-Ginger Langstaff brother only got 15 minutes of game time today. He must be saving his legs for that big money move. No, he just can't get in the bloody team, mate, because he's no good. William Jolly, if we walk away from this deal, which I think we won't, fans will be pissed off, but the Glazers and Ed won't react by buying another player, guaranteed. No. As James Cooper said from Sky Sports yesterday, United have got all their eggs in one basket with this deal. But as Simon Stone said as well, he'll be very surprised if it doesn't happen. It will happen, but we are just negotiating. And I'm actually on Sporting's side. I think United are holding this deal up because I think the fee that Sporting Lisbon want is realistic. £60 million is his value. What United are doing messing around 40 is a joke. I stopped buying jerseys, merch and tickets a few years ago. Love my club, but I'm not paying Glazers debt for them. Boycott and force them to sell, says Merchwear Island. Liam Corliss' tweet made me so mad. He said that we should walk away and go for better players in the summer. Check out my reply, says Shady Abenazer. Yeah, but people have got a right to say what they like. You know, not everybody's a massive Bruno Fernandes fan like me and some of you are. You know, some people say wait till the summer. I think though that sort of comment is really weird for a Manchester United fan, if they are a Manchester United fan, because if you say let's not buy anyone now and wait till the summer, you've just written half a season off. Since when do Manchester United have the luxury of writing half a season off? We could win the Europa League, we could get in the top 4, we could win the FA Cup. Like, why would you want to wait for the summer when you've got opportunities? I mean, Chelsea lost tonight. If we lose to Liverpool tomorrow, we're still 5 points off 4th. If we get a win, we're 2. If we draw, we're 4. Top 4 is still there. We've got to go to Chelsea as well. Top 4 is still there. Oh, let's wait till the summer. What are you talking about? It's sad, but this won't stop until us, the fans, unite and take a stand. We're in football depression and we need a club we love, says Milverton Richard. Well, we do love the club. We do love the club. That's not going to change. Reece Gregory, 4th is there for the taking, Mark, and they can't be bothered to show any ambition and sign them a minimum. They should be in January. Total joke. Yeah, I agree with that. But you know what? To sort of encapsulate something here, a lot of people, and I see a lot of you talking about it before we go live in the live comments, and it does get mentioned a lot on the shows as well. You always get this question of how long is it going to take for us to get back on top, right? How long is it going to take for Manchester United to get back where they need to be? Well, the answer is this, and my answer is this. I think we're 6 years away. I thought for a time we might have been 1 year away. I think after Sir Alex Ferguson and David Moyes got the sack, I thought Van Gaal maybe 1 or 2 years away. Mourinho, 2 or 3 years. Ollie, when he first came in, 3 years. Now 6. And why have I doubled it? Because the club's in a bloody mess. Like, you know, the squad that we've got isn't good. There's some good players in there, but I'm not confident that some of them will stay. I think if we have 2-3 years more like this, Wan-Bissaka and Harry and Rashford and people and Martial will say I need to go. I'm not going to stay at Manchester United fighting for bloody 7th every year. So things could get worse before they get better. And I think at the moment I'm swaying towards it getting worse because I can't see enough of it going right. Even if we started rebuilding today, I think we're 3 to 6 years away from getting back to being a title contender. And to do that, also, I've said this for a couple of years now, we need to spend. We've got to spend our way out of this. And I hate to say that because I don't like it, but we have to spend our way out of this. We haven't got enough young players coming through that can build a team. We've got some really good young players through, but we haven't got any experience with them. So we've got to buy. I think we've got to spend around £500 million over the next 3 years. There is not a cat in hell's chance we're going to spend £500 million in the next 3 years. So until we do that, I don't see us getting back anyway. And as much as I think Bruno Fernandes is the right signing, if you are labouring around valuing that player at 40 to 45 million pounds and you can't go higher, that to me says this club's in trouble. I mean, we saw a story today that United don't want to go higher than 50 million pounds for Bruno Fernandes because it will mess up their negotiating tactics in the summer for James Maddison and Jadon Sancho. What do you think they're going to do? Like, what do you think you're going to do with Jadon Sancho? Ring up Dortmund and say, I know you want 100, we're going to give you 60, and let's start the negotiations. You know what happens? Liverpool, Chelsea, Real Madrid ring up and go, 120, let's get it done. And United go, oh shit, that didn't work. So the value of how much we play for Bruno Fernandes has got no bearing on Jadon Sancho because there will be competition for Jadon Sancho when you either pay the price or you don't. So that was a load of bollocks story. James Maddison's the same. We ain't ringing Leicester up and going, right, I know we paid 50 for Bruno, but we're not paying any more than 55 for James Maddison. And Brendan Rodgers goes, up yours. You gave me 80 million for Harry Maguire. You think I'm giving you our best attacking midfielder for 55? Bidding starts at 100 million. Oh, we said 55, and you know what? We've just leaked it to Sky. We might walk away. Yeah. We've just got 80 million from PSG. See you later. It's not enough. That's a nonsense story. And the amount of people on social media who bought it and was like, they're right. We can't overpay for Bruno because it will affect what we pay for Sancho and James Maddison. No. What it affects is the budget we've got to pay for them. It doesn't affect the price. The money for Maddison and Sancho, if we go for them, will be coming from Pogba anyway. What it means is we've only got a certain amount of money to spend, and that's why they're trying to get everybody on the cheap. Do you think we'll get Bruno? Who else do we need? Says Jack Chat's podcast. Bloody, we need loads, mate. We need loads. I do think we'll get Bruno because I think he wants to come, and I think Sporting will have to take the money. But I tell you what, wouldn't it be interesting if somebody came in and went, what, United are trying to get Bruno Fernandes for 45 million? Well, we'll just pay 55. There you go. It'll be gone. That's my concern. I don't think it's going to happen, but I guarantee you he's worth 55 million. And Man City could just go, you know what, let's just get him. Liverpool could just go, let's just go and get him. Well, they won't do now because they've got Minamino. I can't remember what his name is now. But is it Minamino? That's it. Spurs, Mourinho, they could just go, there's 55 million. I think, fortunately, nobody's looking to do it because otherwise we'd be in trouble. Mark, we got no chance of even signing Frank Bruno. Never mind Bruno Fernandes. I'm sick and tired of these owners. Glazers, Woodward's out. It's a joke, says Jimbo74. Well, I think we will sign him. I do think we will sign him. I just don't know when. And I think it's, as I said, for such a significant signing for me, personally, I can't wait for him to come to the club. I'll be devastated if they mess it up again. I do think it will happen, but I do think they've sapped so much enjoyment out of it yet again. I really wish our football club was like Liverpool or Chelsea, who just go and get deals done really quickly. I mean, I'll never forget that Fabinho one because I wanted him. They were rumoured to sign him at 8. They were in for him at 8 o'clock. He was official by 9 o'clock. Yeah, it's just, I'd love to have that excitement. It just gets sapped by Manchester United. We avoid spending on transfers and we have a high wage bill spent on rubbish. In any other business, Edward would have been sacked long back, says Abenafre. Edward was only in a job because he helped the Glazers buy the club. Let's be honest. I mean, as I said, there are so many examples out there. But if this is a guy who goes to the Glazers and goes, look, I've saved you a little bit of money on this transfer. If the Glazers had anything about him, they go, yeah, thanks for that, Ed. Lock the door. What's the room's getting a bit hot. Yeah. You're under fire, Ed. Here, you're in trouble. You've saved us a bit of money on Bruno, have you? Why did Ander Herrera leave for nothing last year? £30 million, 25 million walked out the door. Explain to me that. Why have you sacked 4 managers because they're all shit? There's so much stuff that he shouldn't be in the job for. And look, Ed Woodward, I hope you turn it around. I hope you do. But I think in any other job, you'd be gone. In a business, you would be gone. You're only there because you helped them buy the club. It's mates rates, isn't it? They are ruining all of our cheers, says Michel Lazaragi. And do you think we'll pay the 80 million for Fernandes? And if not, we go for Samari instead. Roy, B3, Sporting Lisbon don't want 80 million. That is an absolute nonsense story for people like you to swallow up. They do not want 80 million euros. They don't want 80 million euros. They want 60 million pounds. That's what they want. The difference is United only want to pay 40 and Sporting wants 60. And that's the negotiation point. This deal will get done for around 50, 45, 55. Somewhere between 45 and 55 this deal will get done. United want to pay 40, Sporting wants 60. This 80 million they want was an attempt to turn the fans against the deal and say we should all walk away. There's no evidence of it being 80 million pounds. It will never be anywhere near 80 million pounds because Sporting have always wanted 60. They wanted 60 in the summer. Spurs wouldn't pay it. They want 60 now. United won't pay it. I think he is worth 60. And I think in the January transfer market, you've got to pay it, haven't you? They don't want 85, Jack. Look, if you pro Glazers, you crack on. But they don't want 85 million euros at all. They don't want 80 million euros either. They've never wanted 80 million euros. It's always been 70 million euros, which is 60 million pounds. That's the story. It's always been the story. And United have never wanted to pay any more than 43. So what I would say is all these people quoting 80, United only ever wanted to pay 43. So why would you go up to 80 when they weren't even going to pay the 60? United were always only paying 43 plus add-ons. So why would you go? This is where the story absolutely falls apart. Sporting always wanted 60. United had a deal in place for around 43 with add-ons, right? Why would Sporting suddenly say now we want 80? Because they're not even near the 60. This is what people don't think things through. People don't think through. They believe what they want to believe, and that's fine. Believe what you want to believe. That's the whole point. But why would Sporting Lisbon say, "Oh, we now want 80" when they weren't even getting 60? They want 60. United are nowhere near 60. They're at 45, 43, whatever. So Sporting wants 60. United won't go above 45. Let's say. Why would Sporting say now we want 80? They won't even get. If United had gone up to 60 and then Sporting went, "I want 80 now," then I can understand it. But United have never been near 60, which is what Sporting want. So it's a load of nonsense. But it's all about, I think what that was about was to try and make you think, oh yeah, we're right to walk away. It's all spin. It's all spin. Everything's spin. I think we're spinning this out. I think it's definitely going to happen. I think Sporting are going to have to take a price that they don't want to take. And I think it's all about pissing people off, and I don't think it's a good thing because in future, if we go for a Sporting Lisbon, because Sporting will produce somebody else. They did Ronaldo, they've got Bruno Fernandes. There'll be another player in the next 10 years that we want to go to Sporting for, but next time they might come up yours with selling him to Chelsea. You burn your bridges on one deal, but there's a bigger game in football. You've always got to go back. Look at Spurs. We burnt our bridges with them a long time ago, and it's now very difficult to get players out of them. If we don't get Bruno, who do you think we'll get? Says Timmy. Absolutely nobody. Absolutely nobody. I don't think we'll get anybody. It's too short time. We know that United take weeks to do deals. We've only got about a week and a bit. Nearly just under 2 weeks to do deals. 80 million euros is not 60 million pounds, Tom Baker. It's not even close. 70 million euros is 60 million pounds. That's what Sporting want. If you want a Rolls Royce, you have to pay Rolls Royce money, says Daniel Thompson. Exactly, but we don't get that because we're a business and we're not a football club. Every deal is an opportunity to piss the opposition off and try and get a bargain. Saw a great quote today. This is Samuth Anu. United's add-ons include Bruno winning the Grand National, the Nobel Peace Prize and the US presidential election. I mean, to be honest with you, do you not think that Sporting Lisbon are being mugged off a little bit by having add-ons in it? I mean, if we pay them 43 million, that can go up to 60 million if we win the Premier League, well, they're not getting that for 6 years. We're not winning the Premier League. So, the Champions League, you're having a laugh. Ballon d'Or, well, he's got more chance of winning that than the League and the Champions League with United. So, all these add-ons are a big con, aren't they, at the end of the day? Anyway, look. We are back tomorrow for Manchester United versus Liverpool in a very big game where tomorrow's not really about Bruno Fernandes, is it? I don't really want to hear anything about Bruno tomorrow. I don't want to hear about deals nearly being done. I don't want to hear about anything about it, because tomorrow is about Liverpool, and this is one of the biggest games of the season. We go with what we got. Apparently Rashford's not there. He didn't train today. So we go with what we've got. There are rumours that we're going to play a back five as well. We'll see if that transpires. That terrifies the shit out of me, that we're going to go with a back five. Major park the bus tactic. I don't like the back five. I think it confuses our centre-backs. Let's hope that's not true. Let's hope that Rashford does play. But tomorrow is about Liverpool, and we go for it because it's Liverpool, our biggest rival. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you all tomorrow for the big one.